to catch a bass, I need this type of bait, this type of line, this type of reel, this type of boat. I need to be in this part of the lake at this time of day, at this time of year, when the temperatures are. So they're so intentional with their success that they're able to go and just pull bass out all day. I don't even want to keep it. I'm just throwing it back. Whereas if you're a general photographer or videographer, you're literally standing on the pier with a stick, a rope, and a hook, hoping to catch something. And it's completely different when you understand who your target audience is and how they value what you offer. A professional fisherman know exactly what bait to use, why to use it, how to work the rod once you throw it in. They have so much in place to go after the type of fish they want to catch, and they're so successful at it. They can consistently catch fish. If they had to feed their family, they can consistently feed their family. A guy who just want to catch something is everywhere, hoping. And you can't run a business. You can't run a business off hope.
How do you find out what niche in particular to specialize in? When you let's say you're first starting out and you're trying lots of different things, what is it that you should go by? Is it your personal preference, like the thing that you love shooting the most? Is it market conditions? Is it money? What's the strategy there?
So it's a combination of a few. In the academy, we actually have a tool that help you kind of determine what you should go after. And it's a few things based on your location. If you're someplace where there's no ocean, guess what? You probably can't do surfing videos. Like, I mean, you'd be surprised at how many people I run across that are, want to do fashion and they're in like Iowa. And I'm like, yeah, it could be done, but you'd have much greater success if you were in LA or New York. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's a harder path. So you kind of have to weigh what I love versus what's available in my area. The what I love part is so important because you have to speak the language of your target audience, right? Just like, when somebody don't know cameras and they're trying to talk to you about cameras. I want to get a blurry background and I don't, and you're like, but somebody that walk up to you and say, hey, we shot this at 1/60th of a second at f1.4, 2 inches from the lens. And that's why we have all the bokeh. When somebody know what they're talking about. So you have to love it enough to have the ability to walk in your target audience or your target client's business and speak his language. If you don't love it enough to do that, it's going to be difficult to have success. And if you don't believe me, take any aspect of your life and just imagine if your car mechanic was like, yeah, we're going to change some of the parts, the connector, we're probably going to pull the screw out and see what, you'll be like, there's no way I'm letting you touch my car. There's no way I'm letting you touch my car if you can't even name the part that we need to replace. So there's a lot of different layers to that, right? Let's say hypothetically, your mechanic walked in and he didn't say nothing, but he was in a tuxedo. He don't look like he's here to do the job. To make sure that you appeal to that client and you are of value to that client, you won't make it. So that's why you have to love it enough to understand it, to research it, to live it, to breathe it, to talk it, to have success. That's the first step. Now, a lot of people want to go into industries they don't love or don't like or don't know much about. You either need to be willing to educate yourself or choose something that you can talk about fluently.
Now, let's say you figured out, okay, well, I live in a relatively big city or close to a big city, and let's say corporate headshots is something that I've identified as something that I think everybody needs, right? Because it sounds like a thing that, as long as you're somewhere where there's a relatively large business population, could be something that could actually work. Corporate headshots, branding, photography, that kind of thing. So how do you then land your first clients? Like, what are your actual active steps you've got to take to, first of all, identifying your ideal clients and then actually land the job? How do you get from, I think corporate headshots is a really good idea, to booking your first client?
Absolutely. So in Flash Home Academy, we have a very unique approach, very unique system that we've developed, and it's called the beta client system, right? And with the beta client, I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of people tell you, go shoot and build your portfolio. Well, I don't believe in that. That's not my route. Other people do it. That's cool. I don't think it helps you in the long run. You know what do help you? The relationship with a business owner in the industry you want to target, because he has the information that will help you be successful, right? He can tell you, if you want to go after dentists, and I use this a lot as an example, a dentist can tell you, this is the budget we have set aside for this type of thing per year. If you charge within this area, you're probably going to get more clients. If you go over this, no. If you go under this, you're going to scare people. Having the ability to get it directly from the horse's mouth saves you years of trial and error. So guess what? As a content creator, I can create something that's not tangible, that I have an unlimited supply of, to barter for that information. So what we teach is build the relationship with your ideal client, understand what their needs are, understand what they value. Even if you got to do the first one for free, it's worth it, because that information will continue to pay you for years. So what we want to do is we want to develop the relationship with that client. We want to understand what their needs are, because what you want to sell may not be what they need. Now, let me give you an example real quick. I had a student who lived in a tourist town. He wanted to work with restaurants. So he's going in restaurants saying, hey, I can bring you more business. I can take better pictures of your restaurant, your food. You know, he was trying to get the first one for free, and they were like, no, we're good. And he was, and he had a consultation with me, and he was like, I don't understand. All of these business owners, I'm offering them free content to bring more people in. And I asked him, have you ever asked them what they needed? He said, no. He said, I'm gonna go ask one. We're gonna schedule a follow-up call. On that follow-up call, from him, he said his mind was blown, because all of the restaurants in the area had a problem retaining employees, recruiting and retaining employees. They said that more business would lower their ability to provide quality food and customer service. It would hurt their business. In fact, they didn't want more customers because they couldn't service the customers they had now. What they needed was more staff so that they can get to the customers. So then by having that conversation or asking those questions, we unlock what's valuable to that client. What's valuable to that client is recruiting, training, retaining. So instead of saying, I'm gonna create free content to help you get more clients, he started saying, I'm gonna create free content to help you get more employees. I'm gonna create free training content to help your employees that you hire get on the floor quicker. I'm gonna create recruiting videos and things like that. That is what sparked his business, because now restaurants were dying to work with him, because that was their problem.